Welcome back. We're going to get into our second part of Chapter 1, Sections 152 through 153. And where we're going to begin with is naming objects. So this is Section 1.5.2. So in Python, we can give every object that we create a name so that we can refer to it later on. That just makes it easier so we don't have to, let's say if it's a number, type in all the digits of the number. We can provide a name for that and refer to that object via the name later on. So for example, if we wanted to define the constant pi, we might create this name and associate it with the floating point number 3.14159. Okay? So it's easier to type pi than it is to type all those numbers. And we do this via what's called an assignment statement. And assignment statements look like this. We take the name that we're going to create or associate, and then an equal sign, and then on the right-hand side, some Python expression. So in our last section of videos, when we were doing things like 2.4 times 3, that's an expression. And then this would associate a name with that expression on the right-hand side. Okay? So the left-hand side is the name of the object. The right-hand side can be any Python expression we want it to be. And in the middle is the equal sign. So those names that we give to objects are called variables in a programming language. So let's take a look at section 1.7 or session 1.7, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about that assignment statement. So in this situation, this is session 1.7 here, what we're doing is we're calculating the volume of a cylinder. And so what we're going to do is create a series of variables with values. So this makes pi have a value of 3.14159, a radius of 8, height of 16, and then we can calculate the volume of a cylinder by first figuring out the area of the base, so pi r squared, and then we can calculate the volume by taking the base area times the height. All that geometry math really isn't important. It's just this is to demonstrate that how our variables are used in Python. So here we go. Let's run this first cell. Shift enter, we'll run that, and that provides me my base area. And then again, if I want to calculate the volume, I take the base area times the height, and there's my volume. Okay? So note that I can make expressions entirely out of variables that have already been named. So I've got base area, which was calculated up here, and height, which was assigned up here. I take those, put them into an expression, and I get my answer. Okay? So we've seen how to give names, but we have to think about this as being different from the meaning of that equal sign in mathematics. So in math, that's testing the equality of two things, like A equals 6. It's a question. If that's the case, then that's true. Otherwise, it's false. So in programming, it means assignment, not equality. It assigns a name to an object. It's sort of like, and again, I like the text's analogy here, it's sort of like putting a sticky note on that object. So if we take a look at figure 1.5 in your book, which I've reproduced here, these purple things on the left are my stickies, and the right-hand side are the objects that those stickies belong to. So in that session that we just looked at, we created a variable named pi and associated with it this object. Likewise with radius, height, base area, and cylinder volume. Okay? Now, we can give more than one name to the same object. Just like if I had physical objects, I could put more than one sticky note on the same physical object. Okay? So we had radius equals 8 before, which assigned the name radius to the object 8. What if we do this? Afterwards, x equals 8.0. Okay, and again, that's an assignment statement. Well, now we would have this situation. still had all those names that we had previously in our namespace. And then we just had another one that we've introduced, x. But now x and radius both refer to this object right here, this 8.0 object. Okay? All right. We can also move sticky notes around from one to another. So we could change the which object a variable refers to as well in programming. So let's take a look at session 1.8, and then that will give us this figure 1.7. Okay, so in session 1.8 here, if you notice what's happening, this says, all right, make A refer to the object 10, make B refer to 20, and now if I say A equals B, it's like moving the sticker that was pointing to 10, making it point to 20 instead. So if I then look at what A is, let's run this cell and see, 20, and B is also 20. So that's where this is the result. This is the after view of that moving of a sticky from the 10 to the 20. All right, so those are names, variables. I'll use that word from here on out. And what we're going to do from here now is we're going to move into what are called functions and methods and things like that. And we're going to do it through Turtle graphics. So Turtle graphics are up next in the next video.